In v 1.67.0, the developers made a load of bug fixes to Tower Defense Simulator, and in fact, a lot of changes they've made weren't even mentioned here. So, with the Biologist Tower, previously what happened was when you sold the Biologist Tower, one of its plants would actually remain alive and continue attacking. However, when you now sell the Biologist Tower, none of its plants remain alive. Next, there was an issue with the classic Electroshocker, which didn't shoot at level 5, it now does shoot. And previously, the level 4 to 5 classic Electroshocker used to have a cannon on its control panel, which no longer is the case. There was also a bug fix, which the Electroshocker sounds couldn't be muted by the tower sound setting. It now can be. However, that being said, the classic Electroshocker still has a grey cube, as seen here, on its control panel. Next, with Carolining, its emote couldn't be muted by the emote sound setting until this update. Same for the Chili emote. That emote sounds couldn't be muted by the emote sound setting until this update as well. You'll notice that a load of sound fixes to Tower Defense Simulator, because the Swarmer, its sound setting ability, now also does work from this update. Previously, you couldn't mute the Swarmer sounds. Furthermore, there was an issue with the Swarmer that made it possible to aim in front of the enemy. This has now changed, so it's slightly beyond the enemy, so it looks like it's more of a laser now. However, at lower levels, you can see that the Swarmer does still slightly aim in front of the enemies. So I'm not sure if that's a fix overall or what. I mean, Mentin has listed it as a fix, but I still see it aiming in front of the enemy, but oh well. Next, the level 2 upgrade for the Swarmer is now spelt correctly. It's now Aggressive Bees. And then for the Undead Soldier mission quest, there used to be a misspelling with, which I assume it was spelled with W-I-T or W-I-H, because Below Natural is famous for his typos. Next, the developers fixed a grey cube issue with the Eggy Pursuit. However, that is only in the game. They haven't fixed the issue with the grey cube in the lobby. As you can see here, you can see that the Pursuit Tower has a grey cube in the middle of the tower. So while they fixed it in the game, they forgot the Eggy Pursuit exists as a tower pet. So yeah, it's still in the game as a bug. Next, they apparently fixed the Dark Radiance Quest 3 spelling issue, which I don't know what it was. The bug tracker just mentions that the description is misspelled, which is very, very helpful. Now, with the Ranger, there is an issue with its upgrade description. So previously, there was a misspelling here that said allies with only one L compared to the actual spelling, which is 2 L's. That being said, though, the level 3 upgrade repeats the same description as level 2, whereas the Ranger range boost ability is only given by an upgrade at level 2. It does give it at level 3 and level 4 as its own passive ability. However, it shouldn't have its information repeated. It's like the commander saying, yes, Call to Arms ability gets it at level 3 and level 4. It's not the case. So here, it's not meant to appear here. But the developers did correct the typo. So yeah, very cool, I guess. Now, as I've mentioned previously in a different video, the Ducky Battle Pass has now ended. The rewards still remain here, but you can't gain any more levels, and event currency no longer drops. It ended a couple of hours before the hacker update actually dropped. This is because it ended at 0 o'clock UTC, whereas the update normally occurs around the afternoon UTC. However, I would like to point out there is still an issue with some people who didn't get the Glitter Bomb name tag. This is because when initially released, the Glitter Bomb name tag wasn't here. It was actually the Melting Ice name tag, and many people who had the Melting Ice name tag already from the Operation Ice event meant that they never actually got the Glitter Bomb name tag, and they are missing out on a feature of the big game pass, of the battle pass. And to be fair, I don't think the developers are in any mood to actually fix this, and I think those players who were very, very keen on buying the Ducky Revenge Battle Pass very early may have lost out on a item, which is very annoying given the fact that some people in the game are completionists and they probably would have gotten everything in the game apart from this name tag because they were too eager in buying up everything. But at least if you missed out on the Operation Ice Melting Ice name tag and you sped around through the regular Battle Pass, or you bought the entire Battle Pass, then at least you got that name tag, which to be fair, I don't think that is that common, I can't lie. But I have seen some people say that, oh wait, I got the Melting Ice name tag even though I didn't play the game in the Christmas event. Now apparently for the Fallen Cowboy, there is an issue with the third quest in the Condemned Vigilante quest, which requires you to place down 12 cowboys in Badlands 2. 12 cowboys aka the max limit of cowboys. However, when people did the Condemned Vigilante quest, some people are saying that you can actually get away with only placing down 10 cowboys, given the fact that in this update, the placement limit for the cowboy has been reduced from 12 to 10, so the quest doesn't seem like its description was updated with the mission quest. However, I've also seen some people say that it's still glitched. I placed down 10 cowboys and didn't get the progression in the quest. So I'm not entirely sure if this is bugged or not. And I'm not entirely sure if people are looking at the quest saying, ah yes, place down 12 cowboys, max limit, but oh wait, I can't place down maximum cowboys because I don't have 12 cowboys. So I don't know if people are just misreading it and saying that, oh wait, it's bugged, or if the quest is actually genuinely bugged. Someone has to get back to me on that. Speaking of which, there have been some changes in the mission quest in that the Place Farm and Live Better quest for the Walmart farm skin is no longer available. This is for the Discovered Farm skin as seen here. However, the Game Pass or the Walmart Discovered Pass is still available and you can still buy the Walmart Discovered Pass. So it seems like the Discovered Farm was only available for a week and you had to complete its objectives within that week. Otherwise, the Discovered Farm would be removed, the quest would be removed from your inventory and you wouldn't be able to get the Discovered Pass for free. And it now means the only way to get a skin in Tower Defense Simulator is to buy it directly from the Discovered Pass, which doesn't make it too dissimilar to other ultimate skins in the game, such as the Mako DJ booth and the Game Master Croak Boss, except those skins, they cost like 800 Robux, whereas this only costs 200 Robux and provides other benefits in other Roblox games. So Ren is still in the game, it still has an invisible avatar as seen here though. Also, interestingly, there's a new quest in Tower Defense Simulator in the previous update called Corrupted Touch, which is for the Fallen Hacker skin. It used to be permanent here, as similar to other quests which are new. They are always here in the leftmost hand column, and there are 6 additional quests afterwards. However, this is now no longer the case. Corrupted Touch is no longer guaranteed to appear anymore. It just so happens on today it appears as a 6th slot here, so you can still get the Fallen Hacker skin. It's just that it's no longer guaranteed, which is really weird because other quests, when they are guaranteed and when they are new, they've guaranteed to be in the store for about 2 weeks until the next update, whereas this one appears to be only a week until the mid-cycle update, which sometimes occurs, sometimes it doesn't. And in fact, it's not even the mid-cycle update. Sometimes it's like 5 days. So yeah, that's really, really weird. But the Evil Hacker name tag is still guaranteed to appear in the daily name tag store, which is even weirder. Also in this update, they've removed the Swarmer Game Pass and the Biologist Game Pass from the store. This is to be expected given the fact that it's been over 2 months since the Biologist Tower has been added to the game, and like a month and a half since the Swarmer Tower was reworked and added to the game as a Game Pass. Luckily, they have also removed it from the Game Pass store, so you can't even gift it out to anyone anymore, and bypass the restriction of the Game Pass being off sale. Instead, now they have the Hacker Tower here and the Admin Mode Game Pass here as the prominent Game Passes that you should buy, given the fact that they're most expensive as well. In V1.67.1, they've also updated the hacker's description. Previously, it was a mid-range aerial of effect tower that's capable of sending back enemies, providing eco, and allowing the player to create copies of enemies, whereas now it is attacks multiple enemies with synapses, siphon cash, and clone tower / enemies. This feels illegal. I think they changed it because I think they've changed away from the mid-range area of effect tower. It's not technically area of effect, the Hacker Tower. It is actually a multi-target tower similar to the Necromancer, except the Necromancer is also slightly area of effect, as when it does its Gravestone ability, it does have the possibility of creating an explosion which damages enemies. But the original description for the Hacker is mostly correct, other than the mid-range area of effect tower. They've also changed how wave skips work. So previously, waves didn't end if there were still some enemies on the map, including enemies that were killed but still hadn't disappeared. So for example, when the Fallen King dies, when its body was remaining on the map, the wave counter timer didn't end or didn't count down for when it died. However, that is no longer the case. The wave timer now counts down from when the last enemy is killed, not when all enemies disappear from the map, like it was back in the day. I don't know if you remember, but when the Templar was added in 2019, it used to have an animation when it was dead, which is, I think, the first enemy in Tower Defense Simulator to have a death animation. When that animation occurred, it didn't affect the wave skip timer thing. I think that was only implemented in like 2022. which was really odd, I can't lie. So I think this change is actually quite welcomed, and I actually certainly appreciate it. And I think I've missed this. In fact, I have totally missed this. The birthday modifier was active on the 15th of June in 2019. I wasn't at home to test this out. In celebration of the Tower Defense Simulator's transition from alpha testing to beta, the beta v1.0 update. This was stated to be on the 14th of June 2019, but that's because I think this was American time when this was stated, and the 15th is UTC time or whatever. I don't know. Very, very weird.